Hi, Barbara. Welcome to Better with Age. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
Yeah, very well, very well. It's a very impressive array of medals over your right shoulder.
Yeah, it's a collection. It's been like 19 years. This is the 19th year.
Wow, wow. And I think I understand that when you took up rowing, you hadn't done much sport before, and rather than rowing becoming an occasional hobby, you jumped in and competed hard and successfully, almost right from the start. How did that happen?
Okay. The truth is, I had never done any sport in school, mostly because I was obese most of my life, like 5 stones more, 62 kilograms more than I am now. And so I shied away from sport, but I did swim recreationally and I rode my bike. And one day, when I was 61 years old, I was riding my bike down this canal towpath by the lake in Princeton, New Jersey. And out on the lake where the Princeton University and the US national team train, I saw the most stunning thing, which was an 8-person boat of older people, adults. And I'm over there on my bicycle and I said, I want to do this. I had a background in sailing, so I love the water. But I couldn't find out how to do this. But when I did find out, I signed up right away for the Learn to Row class for 4 months, and it's 4 times a week. It was fabulous. And I was told later that the coaches thought I would be the least likely to continue.
Oh.
Because I was the oldest, the fattest, but I surprised them. As Rod mentioned, we have lightweight categories in rowing, and I am primarily a water rower.
Yeah.
And up until 2020, I only did the machine and rowing indoor in the winter when the lake was not available. And then as soon as I could get back on the water, that was it every day. But what happened in 2020 is I had both knees replaced in March of 2020, exactly 5 years ago. Immediately after I came out of the hospital, they shut down everything for the pandemic. So I was home and I was rehabbing my knees by myself on the rowing machine. And that year I did 10 million meters, which is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a lot. And how are your knees now? Are you?
Oh, they're excellent.
Wow. A lot of rowers have problems with knees and hips. And so it's a common conversation. There's a certain amount of trepidation before having something replaced naturally. Yeah. But you're okay.
Yeah, very good. For me, it wasn't about the rowing. It was genetic. My father had both replaced. My daughter has already had one replaced. It's genetic. But I have a saying, and it's true: nothing hurts in the boat.
Right.
Never had acre of pain in the boat.
Wow. Wow. And what is your fitness regime now?
Well, after 2020, I have included indoor rowing year round. And so we'll be back on the water in a couple of weeks. But I tend to row on the lake in the morning, about an hour and a half. And then I'll come home and maybe in the afternoon, I'll do another 5 or 10K on the erg. So I'm training long distances. My focus is the head races, which are 3 miles, 4,700 meters, or the final one of the season is 11K, 7 miles in Torino, Italy. And that's the focus right there. So I do a lot of long distances, long practices, but I also do high intensity interval training to keep my conditioning. So it's working for me.
Great.
Lots of meters. In fact, over the last 5 years, I have averaged 13.7 kilometers a day, every day.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
every day, which is 25 million meters in that time.
Yeah, well, it's quite a commitment. And Barbara, are you being coached at the moment?
I have several avenues of coaching. For the last 15 years, every first week of June, we go up to Vermont to a camp called Craftsbury Rowing Sculling Center, and we practice for 6 days with coaches that come from all over, top level coaches, and we get to work with all of them, and it's a real tune-up for the year. And when I'm in Philadelphia, sculling, do you know the difference between sculling and sweep?
Yeah.
Okay. So I started out in sweep, and I have more gravitated now to sculling, getting successively smaller boats. And so that mostly I'm rowing a single now. But I do doubles and quads and eights on occasion, but lots of doubles and quads. But sculling is my thing. When I'm in Philadelphia, we're coached, my partner and I, by a former Olympic gold medalist, Gabby Cipollone. She won her medals for East Germany. And so in Princeton, we're coached, I belong to clubs in Philly, Princeton, and Boston. And in Philly, we're coached by university coaches.
Okay.
Because we use university boats there for the eights. And then another essential part of my coaching is the All-American Rowing Camp with Jim Dietz and Mark Wilson in Boston. I go up there every year before the head of the Charles and train for 3 or 4 days just on the bridges and the turns and even though I know it with my eyes closed, it's just so thrilling to do that. I do that every year. And also I go with them to Italy for 4 or 5 days of training before the Silver Skiff, which is that 11K race. So they're key trainers for me.
Okay.
But when it comes to erging and the machine, the primary race, is a 2K. And I have a 12-week, 84-day program, very detailed, that I follow leading up to a 2K for the last dozen years. And it's never failed me. In fact, this year I did just win the U.S. Rowing Indoor Championship. And that is from a coach who was a physical therapist that trained U.S. rowing team. Okay. And I really rely on that. Then I have another association with a club in Boston, an indoor rowing center called Power Rowing. And Power Rowing sponsors these long distance team things where we actually did a live relay around the world, 40 million meters. And night and day, people doing that. And this is the kind of thing that stimulates this distance. Right now, we're in the middle of the Pacific, rowing the Kon-Tiki course of Thor Heyerdahl from Peru to Easter Island, which is like 7 million meters. And we're right in the middle of that now. So I'm doing 20K a day now. Well, right now we're in second place, but it's not a race. It's a challenge. Can you do it in 101 days? And we're going to do it in half of that.
You mentioned that you look at your rowing quite scientifically in order to improve. Just to give us an example, what is it that you want to improve right now in your rowing?
I need to get a little bit faster.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is in the Silver Skiff this year, even though I'll be in the 80-year-old category, there is a champion rower. I think she's from Holland. She's a doctor, and she is storied. And she is my main competition at that race. And this year, we were in different categories because I wasn't 80 yet. She was 1 second in this 11K race faster than me. Now, I got to get a little faster if I'm going to. So that's my goal. I want to get that endorsed, because that race at our age, if you can do it in an hour, you're good. And it's on the Po River in Torino, and the whole first half, 5.5 kilometers, is against a strong current. And then you turn this buoy and come racing back. It's the most thrilling thing. 700 single sculls.
Wow.
Racing in the same event, including the Olympic champion, Martin Senkovic.
Yeah. Wow. And clearly you're training a lot, so it takes quite a lot of time and effort. But how do you view training in your life? And I don't mean just the time commitment, but how do you feel about it?
First of all, the water part is so enjoyable. The nature, we go out early in the morning, sometimes before dawn launching, and it's so beautiful. The wildlife, the sunrise, and then before you even know it, you've done 10 kilometers and you've had this wonderful workout, and you think, oh, that was fun. You know, even when you're training hard with a coach out there, it's always fun. And even though I'm a single sculler mostly now, it's not a solitary sport. We have a group of scullers and we go out together and train together. The friendships have been astounding. And since most all of my colleagues are younger, you know, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Well, it makes me forget how old I am. Yeah. Sometimes I forget, you know,
and
it's a good thing.
And you're talking about nature on the water. Presumably that's in contrast to being on the erg, which
is the erg, I have to say, is no fun. It's all function. It's no fun, but I do it quite a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm a member of the Diamonds, the over 60s erging group, and I do all the cross team challenges, and I find that so motivating. And we compare notes. A lot of my friends have joined that. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And how do you manage rest and recovery?
That's my weak link.
Okay.
That's my weak link. Before a major event, I do follow a tapering, force myself to take a couple days off, and then it's very structured how I approach according to my plan. But it's hard for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's a day without rowing is hard for me. So I would say in an average 30-day period, a Concept 2 is showing you a 30-day period, I might have 2 or 3 days where I didn't row.
Yeah, yeah.
And I recognize that rest is a good thing, but I'm having a little trouble.
And when you say it's hard for you on those days when you don't train, what is it that's hard? Is it
psychological?
Yeah, but just going a bit further, is it a fear of losing your capability? Because
no, I don't think that. Oh, I know what it is. The annual meters challenge. Okay. The Concept 2 has the annual meters challenge, and I'm always trying to get my meters up. You know, right now I'm at a certain number, and you take a day off and you drop a little bit. I mean, it's ridiculous. Nobody's looking at this. You know what I mean? But it's a personal thing, trying to maintain a certain average meters. Yeah. And I think, oh, I'm going to have to do more tomorrow.
Yeah. So you're competing against yourself.
Yes. I check that almost every day.
And why is it that not keeping up with where you want to be is so difficult?
You mean psychologically?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It feels like a setback.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned rest and recovery being quite a hard thing to get right. How's your sleep?
Oh, terrible. Terrible. I wake up in the middle of the night. I'm looking at my phone.
Yeah.
I'm not good with that. I've got to work on that.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem to be getting in the way of you being fit and healthy and strong and
No, I feel good. I
yeah,
feel good, but I'm getting not enough sleep and not deep sleep.
yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of rowers and diamonds particularly will say the same thing.
Yeah, good. I'm alone.
No, you're definitely not alone. So when you've got a challenge coming up, and you mentioned Torino, for instance, do you have a mental preparation routine?
Yes,
Okay.
I really do. Well, for short races in the summer, we do 1,000-meter sprints, and they're my least favorite. You're lining up side by side, they're exciting, but I get on the start line and I say this to myself: I am trained for this.
Okay.
I am trained for this, and I have a race plan, and I follow that race plan, even if it means others are going out faster. I save myself for the sprint,
Yeah.
and it's been effective. But there's another thing that I do. One of the main races is the Head of the Charles, and I've been rowing with the club. I've been competing for 17 years, and this will be my 16th Charles. And I know the course so well, the 7 bridges, the turns, the docks, I wear a little mirror. I never turn around. But I have taken this 4,700 meters and shrunk it down to 2K in my mind, so that when I'm doing a 2K erg race, I am rowing the Charles. And I know that at 1,000 to go, that's Weeks Bridge. And at 800 to go, that's Anderson. And I can see it. And taking this long course and scrunching it down into 2K just makes it go so quickly. So you're doing it in 9 minutes instead of 25 minutes.
Yeah.
So I always do that with my 2K. I row the Charles.
Okay.
That's a mental trick.
Yeah. So there's that, and then the mantra at the start of the race that you were just.
Oh yeah, I'm trained for this, and that's the best confidence booster. Is that I know I've got all of these miles and miles in my training, that I train for endurance. I want to finish strong.
Yeah. Barbara, did anybody teach you those mental techniques?
No, I don't think so.
It's interesting. So your mind or your consciousness somehow has come up with that as a way of helping you compete.
Well, the race planning, of course, is part of the preparation. I have a, shall we say, manager. My husband, I could not do any of this without him. It's almost like I'm in assisted rowing living here. I never carry the boat by myself. He coxes me in all of my erg races very effectively. He plans what events I'm going to take place in. He registers me. It's part. I couldn't do it without him.
Okay.
But he is such a support and cheerleader for me. And he maintains the boats, rigs the boats, transports the boats. It's like he is well regarded in the rowing community.
Yeah, and he must be very proud of you as well.
Yes.
I was going to ask you about whether or not you're still pushing the limit or settling at a level But I guess listening to you talk about becoming 80 and wanting to push on.
80, when my colleagues are getting to be 80, every time you go into another 5-year age bracket, it's exciting because now you're the young one in the group.
Yeah.
And we either compete in 5-year age groups on the water and on the erg, or we have handicap. U.S. rowing has a handicap system. So if for example, last weekend I did a 1K race, and there was a 37-year-old, a 77-year-old, a 79-year-old, and some 50-year-olds, and we're doing the 1K. Well, I won. I did not have the fastest time, but the handicap that I had allowed me to win.
Yeah. Can you imagine a time when success, winning or losing is not that important and just taking part is the most important?
I can imagine that. Because I've seen women older than I make that shift to recreational rowing, and I think I could do that. Maybe when I'm 90.
Yeah, I struggle to believe you there. I think you probably, when you get to 90,
Oh yeah, I don't know. Maybe you're right. I do this for, I say, fitness and longevity. My mother is turning 101 in May, and she's physically well. So I probably wouldn't really need to do all of this I'm already longevity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So too old to die young.
But it's a healthy addiction to have.
It's a healthy addiction. And I have another obsession, which is I am not a natural lightweight. I have to work at this. And are you familiar with the Crashby Indoor Championship? The premier championship 2K erg racing in the world. And people came from all over the world, all over. I have friends from Denmark and Australia and Spain that I met there, and Mexico. It was a beautiful thing. And what happened was I would win silver, bronze, silver, bronze, silver my first 5 years. And then it dawned on me that these women who are gold are big and tall and heavyweight. Because on the erg, weight is your friend. In the boat, not so much. You have to pull it. Right? But so I get myself to the 135 pounds limit in the winter and the 130-pound limit in the summer. And my weight, just like that, I manage it very meticulously. And most of my weight loss was due to Weight Watchers. Okay. I've been a member since 1968, but I would gain it and lose it, gain it and lose it. But in 2001, I came home from a European vacation, just plumped up, back to the old top of the weight scale. And I went there and I committed. I will never miss another monthly meeting. And it's been 287 months.
Wow.
I haven't missed one. And they have a program there as a lifetime member. You don't have to pay for a meeting if you are within 2 pounds of your goal. So I said, I will never pay. I go every month and I've never had to pay. So that's another obsession that I've got. I manage my food.
And listening to you talk about your weight compared to other people's, would you consider yourself therefore to be a faster rower in terms of stroke rate to some of those people who may be stronger?
I do use a high stroke rate.
Yeah.
I do. And not only that, I'm not tall, 5'4". It's low average for American women. And so not having long limbs is not ideal for rowers, but I try to make up with the high stroke rate. And in the longer races even.
And do you do any coaching yourself? I mean, coaching other people?
Well, interesting. Not officially, but my mission is to get other people rowing. And I have gotten my Italian teacher now rowing. My a Spanish friend is now rowing. It's a thing, you know. I try to entice people. You either are a morning person and you love it, or you try it and say, you know. But a lot of people have been inspired to try this because of my example.
Yeah, clearly. And it's a great community to be part of, isn't it?
It is. And I have a 2 singles and a double. And I'll take people, I took my dentist out, you know. I take anybody out in the double and try to show them how wonderful it is.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. I lend boats to people. I take people out in my boats. I promote rowing.
Well, I'm sure they're very, very grateful. Barbara, it's been wonderful talking to you. Do you want to just move it up a little bit and we can see your USA?
Ta-da! Look at that.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for talking to me, Barbara, and wish you luck with preparing for Torino and keeping well.
Yeah, Torino, another one of these.
I wouldn't bet against you.
It's been a pleasure.
Good luck. Cheers.
Thank you.